since we're actually back in the game, I do have a thing that I would like to state that Gen has been doing for the last couple of hours. That Annika has been unconscious and we weren't moving around and all that.
Yeah, I guess you can add it. I'm gonna say with the downtime that's been included and with getting actual medical treatment, everyone goes back up to 0 wound points. Obviously, there might be 1 or 2 lingering effects based on the situation because you can't just pour water on like a stab wound and it'd be better, kind of deal. So like everyone's back to 0 wound points, but there might be specific things that'll dictate
What?
modifiers.
Are you sure? I heal all my bullet wounds with water.
One thing in particular Gen is doing is whenever he gets down to 1, he's gonna go over to Akari and try and take some of her, like use his body to heal her, to where he's like stable at like 2 wound points.
Yeah, you do, and you can see that Akari's body's looking to be in better and better shape. It's just her mental state's not really activating.
Yeah, no. There's nothing Gen can do about her mentally. He can help her physically, and hopefully her being healthy physically helps her mentally. That's what he's going for at the moment. He can try and mess around with mind fuckery at a different time.
So everyone gets to where they are where they are. Again, if you're going to repeatedly do that, I will say when we do get back into combat, you're going to start with 1 wound point. Or like when we leave this session or we go somewhere else, you'll just have 1 wound point left over.
Alright, that works. And then when Gen is not doing that, he is taking one of his 2 remaining pills, plopping it in his science kit, and going to break it down to figure out what's inside of it. Basically, he's reverse engineering it.
Yeah. You start analyzing that, and it gets to being where it turns just dark. It's like we'll say it's like a getting to be about 7 p.m. and the noise upstairs has ended. There was a few gunshots, some scuffles, and other things, but they're now cleaning out the top end of the infirmary wing.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone that's a player, roll me a 1d10. Tell me what you get.
10.
7.
Natural 1. Sorry, 1.
Also 10.
Hi.
So,
all right.
Alex and Annika 10, Gen 7, Ray 1.
I'll just say, I guess Annika and Alex roll me a 1d4 and they'll decide who I go to first.
I rolled a 3.
Four.
Nice. It's at night, about 7 p.m. in your room. Ray could have stayed there if he really wanted to. That's up to Ray. I'm pretty sure he did. Anywho, you can look outside and you can see that there's some like movement out past the gates and stuff, which isn't anything new. The staff would have informed you that there is stuff just with outside the fence now. And there's a corded phone in your room that starts to ring.
She'll like kind of jolt, and if Ray had like if he stayed and whatever, she'll reach across and sort of pick it up, but she doesn't say anything. She just waits to hear who's on the other side.
Is everything alright?
The voice is, when you pick up the phone, it's silent at first, and then you just hear a very hoarse voice say, "I think you need to start planning for the future contingencies of what's going on."
Who's this?
Out of character.
You can call me Ken.
Can you say the
You-
name again?
Yeah, I stopped because I thought Chris was talking. Anywho, he just says, "You can call me Kennedy."
You from the hospital. What kind of plans?
It appears that there's more than what Simmons told me happening at this campus.
You
And I'll just say that I don't think you'll be able to stay there another 8 or so hours.
didn't plan on it. She pauses and she says, "One question for you. What's your
Shoot.
reason for fighting?" And I would like to roll whatever skill I would need to determine if his answer.
Human perception.
Oh, it would be human
Yeah,
perception.
Yeah, empathy,
human perception under empathy.
That's what she says. What's your reason for fighting?
Because it'd be wrong just to let this keep happening.
Wait, I didn't use my luck before, correct? I still have it.
You haven't used it yet.
Can use one of them and see. Oops, did I hit that twice on accident? Okay, she rolled a 26.
Nice.
You can tell that like he's being genuine in that answer. You do get the feeling though that he's been asked this several times and he just kind of gave you like the quickest mundane way to answer it.
Right. And she goes, "You were the associates?"
No.
She deletes, or however she had gotten the other number, she like deletes it or whatever. And she goes, "Thanks. I assume you'll be able to contact no matter where we end up." And she hangs up the phone without waiting for him to answer.
One
Out
guy.
of character.
Text the
No, he
good
can't.
Listen, she's okay. Well, essentially, she's like, "Thanks for the tip," but he's an adult. And regardless of how quick and honest his answer was, she still has trust issues.
How dare you be above adolescence?
I mean, let's be honest. Have any of
She's
the
still
adolescents
a
lied to us
teen.
yet?
She's still a teen, okay? She's still gonna do stupid teen things, but she'll say like, is there somewhere? So if a bunch of people from the outside are coming in, if I'm out of character, if I'm getting that correct, right?
Either that or
So she'll say, second question.
Before you can really ponder that, the phone rings again.
God damn it. So much stress. She picks it up again, but she doesn't say anything.
If Ray's there, you're just gonna look at you like with a raised eyebrow, like, what the fuck are you doing?
This time it goes, when you pick up the phone, the person's a voice that you instantly recognize, and they go, well, I suppose I need to fill you in on what's happening. Come up to my office, and I'll go ahead and tell you everything that you need to know.
Is this
Mother Gracia.
Mother Gracia.
Oh, is that who that is? Can I tell like who's
Yep.
So it's Mother Gracia. She just sighs and goes,
Yes.
all right. And then she glances at Ray and points to the plug on the phone, even though they're probably
Yeah,
gonna leave this room to get
it's
a room.
Mother Grace. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll say, all right,
Everything alright?
we'll come.
Alright.
And then she hangs up.
I think he's having delay.
No,
issues.
just one of you, because the other three of you are gonna have to get ready.
He's having delay. Oh no.
He has delay issues.
All right, we'll decide and one of us will come. And then she hangs up the phone and puts her head in her hands like, Jesus Christ. Ah. She looks at Ray.
Yeah? He sort of looks at you with the raised eyebrow, like, he looks worried, like, is everything alright, son?
So, first call, believe, was a genuine tip to get us out of here. The second is from Mother Gracia.
And what does the hag want?
They want one of us to go to her office and get details, and the others to get ready.
Ready for what? War?
I don't know, but the first caller, I don't know a lot about him, but he said we have less than 8 hours to get out of here.
Get out of the school?
I'd assume, or get
Out of character, I'm
ourselves.
pretty sure we all learned that there was a protocol set to detonate this place in 48 hours.
Yeah.
We don't know how long we were unconscious.
We
know several hours
did.
passed at least.
We did, but she's saying Mother Gracia wants one of us to go and get details from her alone.
Alright.
And she's like super uncomfortable with that idea because last time I did that, we looped around back here and here we are.
Let's bring this up to the group. See who's the best one of us that can go talk to Gracia. The rest of us can prepare.
Okay. And then she'll get up and I'll go in search of the others. But she holds your hand when they're walking down the hallway.
He'll take it.
What was your out of character question, Chris? You cut out on me.
We all knew that in 48 hours this place is getting blown sky high, right?
Not exactly 8 hours, but you know it's coming.
Well, no, I said 48 hours way back. Whenever we first learned it was 48 hours. Don't know how long it's been since then.
Yeah.
I guess when you go looking for
Yep,
Gen,
and
he's
then
messing with his stuff.
it hasn't been 48 hours. Like it's if you count everything and then the time getting here, it's been about 12.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, so they'll, I guess, she'll be looking for somewhere that they can all talk and get the others' input on who should go to talk to Mother Gracia.
Again, when you bring it up, probably still doing his like looking at test tubes, poking them, making sure they're still fine and all that. Nothing has been revealed. Yeah, I can go. Just either of you any good at chemistry? Annika, you especially. I know you were decent at medicine.
Yeah, the only thing is, she kind of looks, I guess, guilty a little bit, and she says, we might have an ally, but it's not Mother Gracia.
Did he give you a name?
Oh, no shit. She ain't been our ally from the start.
Yeah, well, she's not really
But
with us.
that's why one of us going alone makes me uneasy.
Then
Are
why
you
can't-
strong? And she looks at Gen. She's like, are you strong enough?
Again, rolls his shoulders. I'm as good as I will ever be.
Okay. She looks down and she says, this other person is Kennedy.
We know that Leon Kennedy is
we know
the guy
we-
who's
we-
been helping us,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's been helping us the most of the time.
Kennedy?
I ran into him before I went to infirmary to find Sakura and all this happened. Ran into Simmons and him in the infirmary.
Oh.
But Kennedy, said, I asked him why he's fighting, or essentially why he would even care, and he said because he can't let this keep happening. But we, and she looks at you, like the team need to get out of here.
What if two of us
Make his
go
ma-
instead of one? We don't really have to listen to her.
Except we might
We have to
need
prepare
taps to his forehead.
or something.
Listen, just you three get prepared. See if you can squirrel away some supplies to treat the others with when we get out of here.
Question, Tommy. Would I have been able to fix the hilt?
Sword.
I mean, it's technically just the hilt. There's no blade.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, would I be able to be fixing it?
Not right now. If we get time before we close the session, I'll let you make the rolls for it. I'm just trying to get a lot of the story content in.
Okay.
Just and Gen stands up. Just prepare yourself, and Annika, since you said you're decent with chem, see if you can check over this stuff, get what you can out of it. I'll go see, and you two see if you can squirrel away the supplies. And then with that, Gen will just walk past them and start heading off.
Is that going to be a pharmaceuticals roll? To go over
I'd
Gen's
allow
notes
it.
and... Okay.
Okay. Since Gen is going, Alexander will probably try to swipe some medicine, whatever medicine may is necessary for us.
15.
Why is your intelligence so low?
Is it?
Oh wait,
It's
no,
not, it's
pharmaceuticals is
under-
technology. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not intelligence based for pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured since
No,
we're looking at a literal medication, it made more sense than herbalism.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty much been ruled that Gen's gonna be the one to go up to the office by himself.
Yes.
Just double checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hales is really nervous about this. I don't trust her.
Alright. So pretty much again, you can start going by and you can see that the school's basically getting kids to buses and stuff, and all the stuff in the area is pretty much being congregated into easier to move masses and containers and everything. As you pass by the fountain, you can see that it's drained, and you can see that elevator shaft has started to cave in a bit since you guys went that way. And you walk around up to the admin building, and you can just kind of see people scrambling to get everything up that they can.
As I pass these various crates with stuff in them, gonna just look in the crates. Do I see anything at a glance?
A
Specifically,
lot
if I
of
see
it
a
looks
helmet.
like food, clothing, and other. Yeah, everything looks like living essentials, not necessarily combat stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yep. Gen keeps an eye out for things even just a bike helmet. Doesn't need to be a combat helmet. Just anything he can. Basically, just trying to get any kind of head armor. But if he doesn't see anything, he will remember. He will remember the location of the food, though.
Okay. So yeah, you start making your way up the hall, and like I said, everything looks completely disheveled and strung about. And then you get up to Mother Gracia's office, and then the door just opens, as you can tell that she's probably the only one in there, and that she opened it. You just don't see her in the room that second.
Again, without stepping past the door, just kind of looks around. Basically, he's wary as fuck, and if she's hiding behind the door, is not going to be able to hit him because he's keeping the door directly to his side until he sees her. Mother Gracia?
When you do that, you feel a little bit of resistance on the door, and she goes, "Can you please move out the way of the door so I can shut it?"
Gen will step to the side away from her and then close the door himself. Making sure that he follows the path of the door with his eyes so that he can see her as soon as she passes by the door.
Well, have a seat, and you can see that most everything in her room's been packed away as you see her walking towards her desk.
Alright. Yeah, I'm again still gonna keep an eye out for anything of any use. Hell, even a dumbbell at this point. we've seen
Hey man,
the
those
oddest
dumbbells are
things come
strong.
in use.
Those dumbbells are
Yep.
strong, man.
Yeah, as
And then sit across from her.
yeah, so you sit your way down to the desk. You can see, yeah, but before she sits down, she beat you to the desk, and you can see her grab something off of it. Then before you can even really see what she grabbed, you see the panic room door open with like Kenzo chained up in there. Then you just literally look over and just see like a yellow flash come out her hand as you hear a loud bang, and then Kenzo just slumps over. Well, now that little bit of garbage has been dealt with, let's talk.
Dude. What's the next mission?
There is no next mission. It's over.
So what? We do our best to evacuate. Blame it all on Neo, or well, actually, no, probably don't know about Neo Umbrella. Blame it all on whatever Umbrella faction bullshit this is. Again, is going to actually put his leg to where it's up against her desk, so if she tries to raise it up, he
Marahau
can
is finished.
quick as kick it.
Marahau is finished. It's over. Everything I've worked for, this whole institution, because some people decided they couldn't give up on their old training grounds. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I've never had any intentions of working with Umbrella and Neo Umbrella, whoever these people are. But I know that they've had eyes on this school longer than I've been the headmistress of it. As you know, I'm the third generation to run this. My grandfather and my father dumped everything they had. But upon having a couple more chats with Agent Kennedy after he got some bugs, told me that there's no saving this campus because they're taking no chances.
So what? Are we supposed to lay down and wait for them to Terra Grigia this whole shit?
There won't be any waiting. I got the call from the UN that they've opted for the primary campus to be incinerated. They'll be carpet bombing this place within 8 hours. At the
So
same
the
time,
whole get ready, was that your way of saying get ready to run?
if you don't want to die, preferably.
Alright then.
But I don't think it's going to take 8 hours for something to happen. I think you know the kind of figure that was able to communicate the information, and that they're not who they say they are.
You're talking about Simmons, Harbinger, or Kennedy?
Well, Harbinger's not a prom anymore. Kennedy seems like the one genuine one because he's at the lowest level between those three. And Simmons was the one that gave me the call that was what the UN had decided to do.
Mhm.
And I know that you know that Simmons can't be trusted with this kind of information.
Oh,
I have no doubt that he told his friends everything's being taken.
I knew a long time ago that I couldn't trust any of you guys. You're right.
No, so the current plan is we're organizing everyone to get them out of here before the bombings happen, but we're anticipating an attack before then. And not by an infected.
Then I think it's time you opened up your armory to the kids at the school. 16-year-old with a gun
You
may
think
not.
we just have an armory? As she just keeps laughing, then she holds up her hand with the Makarov in it up like that, and she's like, "You think we have an armory in this place?
I'm
We
sorry,
don't
they're
have
not.
shit. There's
Do you not
barely
have security
enough."
with rifles running around? Those not your guys out there?
We have. There's a difference between having a few and having a stockpile.
I don't care if in your armory all you've got is rubber clubs.
There is no armory, Genkai Satom. There's only enough to arm up 15 of the school guard.
Alright, then guess we're breaking chairs. Using pencils. Anything.
I agree. That's why we're getting everything ready now. We're getting the buses ready to go. So, I want you, your friends, everyone to be ready to get on one of the buses or one of the other vehicles, whatever. The plan is we're going to make a mad dash for the advanced district, because if there's one thing that could save us here, it'd be what Miss Watanabe has at the advanced center.
This carpet bomb is going to hit the entire island, right? Actually, how big is Marhow Island?
Marahau is on the island of Tashima, and it looks, from how she described it, seems like they're mostly going to be getting the jungle areas, the school, and outward, not the handful of cities. So, like, the 1-2 small villages outside of the school, like near the edge of the island, aren't being targeted just yet.
Right. What is this thing in the advanced district that Miss Watanabe brought? By what I know of her
Miss
field of
Watanabe never left after her presentation.
Huh. How nice.
No, I contacted her to help me with my issue of students starting to show up undead. This has been an issue we've been dealing with in small amounts for the last 2-3 years, and we knew it was just small enough to where it couldn't be an actual full-blown outbreak, but we knew it was deliberate enough to where there had to be something else going on. So, me and the staff have covered it up just long enough for us to find out who the powers were at be. Our plan was to lure Simmons here because Miss Watanabe used to be an associate of his. And then once we had enough dirt on him, we were going to try to clear the school's name.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he was four moves ahead of us. And now I have to hope that what Miss Watanabe's been working on since the start of the school year is still there. Because if we can get it, we might be able to convince NATO to stop the carpet bombing after the first run. And then at this point, Mother Gracia kind of drops the gun on her table, then like holds her head down like that, then wipes the sweat off. She's been working nonstop to basically desynthesize the Ouroboros samples that she brought here because she thinks we might be able to make a C virus antibody with it.
Ain't that just miracle item? And the C virus, it's the one that turned those guys into the big whatever the fuck zombie. Is that a different one? Out of character, yes, I know Julia was the C virus one, but don't know that those things aren't also part of it.
That's what your friend Ray. The C virus is what's been the thing infecting all the students here. That's the gas, it's the big ones, it's what's happening to your friend Ray. It's a much more malleable weapon than they've ever made before. It's not even spread through bites. Kenzo had bit one of the guards and he never turned. It spreads through that gas when they drop it.
Interesting. What about the chips? What do they have to do with it?
The chips? That was a byproduct of my father's work at this school. In the 1970s, when he was the headmaster, he basically was able to secure a grant through military technology development by letting people use the bunker underneath the school until Umbrella took it over in 77. He came up with the foreground of the chips, and it was deemed by the government to be necessary that we start instituting them to some degree because we are having children from all over the world in the middle of nowhere. A lot of very important children, a lot of people that can't go missing, a lot of people where their death in of itself is going to cause a ripple effect, like young Mr. Awada here. So, well, we were mandated to provide security. The chips were what we were able to come up with, and it's what we kept based off of the blueprints from when we did have our open relationship with Umbrella before I became headmistress.
Why is it that everyone with this C strain virus is able to fuck with our chips then?
No, not everyone with the C virus is able to do it. Key people who have the control switches are able to fuck with it.
How do we shut that down? Because I don't know about you, Miss Mother Gracia, but when the person I'm facing and who wants me dead can just at any point just go, you take a little nap for about an hour while the zombies come. So, don't know about you, but I don't feel too secure in my fighting prowess at that point.
And that's the point I was going to say. Around when the facility had the new addition built underground to connect to the old bunkers and the older laboratories and everything. They got access to the command module and took it over and have been using it for their experiments. It gave them constants in their trials, tribulations. But we came up with a counter, and it would work so long as we could keep people within campus, but they'd still have to obey what they were told to do to a modicum of a degree. What I'm doing now is we know that the main console is set up at the advanced district. The plan's to have that destroyed. In the meantime, and then you see her hit a button and a computer screen comes up out of her desk and she flips it around. I've put emergency override on the system for the next 6 hours.
So we've got about 5 hours until they can just kill us. Because after a certain point, override or not, they can delay us long enough.
That's why it's imperative we get everyone ready to move. As much as I'd love to continue this conversation, I think we're about out of time.
Indeed.
I'll let you and your friends get access to any gear you need with what reserves I do have, and we did find your friend's pickup truck, so if you can fix it, you have that. But I need to get moving. And now we'll cut to the other 3 party members. I guess you 3 roll me an awareness and we'll go from there.
Okay, I also got a 15 on the pharmaceuticals roll.
23.
23?
Yep.
29.
And
20,
Kevin?
no,
29?
23.
Alright.
I also got a 23. Ray and I are twins.
It was meant to be.
Nice. Alright. So, pretty much, you 3 are seeing everything starting to happen, and you can see the handful of security guards are starting to put on, like, better to do armor and stuff, and then, like, the 4 or 5, like, microbuses are getting loaded up with other students from the wings till there's, like, 8 of them full. And you can see, like, a handful of supply trucks getting loaded up. And while all of this is mid-process is where we're going to catch up with you guys. And for about 2 minutes until I advance the RP scene, you guys have free RP to comment on what's going on. Just be ready for me to interject whenever.
Gotcha.
Annika's going to be doing what Gen asked and looking over his notes. But she'll say out loud, I think.
Fucker, did you want like a chemistry roll for that to see how good the notes were in the first place?
I also have chemistry. She'll say we need to get as good of healing gear as possible for ourselves.
I think that, and also we need to get some gear in general. Weapons, some armor if we can. And anything that can really be helpful in a situation like this.
We need to get more we need to get more, you know,
Shit.
the stuff that we need. And she looks at Ray when she says like stuff we need, which Alex would probably know as like the pills, but
Yeah.
she doesn't know who else is like she doesn't
Yeah.
trust anyone else but the group, so she's not
I
going
have
to
to
say
agree.
pills right
we need
out.
those things. I'll see if maybe Gin might know something about that. Unless you can craft some of your own, but I doubt that you can make things with your pharmaceuticals.
No, probably not, but we could raid.
It's in the store. Yeah.
The hospital.
I need some mechanical things to, fix this. He shows Anika the hilt. I'm gonna need equipment and stuff. I want to fix this.
Yeah, we need to get you another laptop.
Or
But you go. If mine's still in my room, you can just have it and do whatever you want with it.
thank you.
Yeah. And it's at this point that Alex, you can hear in the background from one of the radios on one of the security guards, and he said, "Head of security Marcel said open the gate," and they're like, "Open the gate." They're like, "Yeah, they're here early."
Shit.
He'll relay this information. I think there's something happening at the print gate. I think they're having a situation, something about someone or something coming early.
Shit.
She'll take Gen's notes, and if there's any type of bag around, she's gonna shove it in, and she's gonna say, "We need to get Martin and Sakura and Aaron and start getting shit to go."
Yeah. Get the group together. Maybe we can and tell them what
Akari's
we need.
still unconscious. We're gonna need a stretcher if we're gonna be carrying her around.
We'll get her on one of the buses, but we should probably see if we can.
I don't really trust those buses.
Let's-
Unless we have somebody who could check their engine and see if there's nothing,
Yeah,
that's
well,
not
we could
supposed to be
see.
there.
You think they have trucks? We could steal one.
All right. Do you know how to drive?
Problem. We still have Aaron. He's
All
still
right.
alive.
And maybe his. Let's get her to rest and see what we do from there. Maybe for a car we get a wheelchair for her.
I'll probably
If
try
I
to swipe some medicine just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's is awareness is search basically?
Well, you guys are looking out. Yes, but before you guys do any of that, you can see the main gate of the school open up, and then you can see two Humvees pull in. And they look almost decked out in military gear. Then you can see them pull up into the bay, and then the door opens. And outside the first door, you pretty much see this figure come out of the driver's seat. And then out the other Humvee, you can see Chris Redfield get out with a couple other BSAA soldiers.
She looks at Gen and Ray.
I don't think
Which I don't
Or-
need to
I meant-
upload his
I meant
picture because it's
Alex.
already there.
I meant Alex and Ray. Sorry. And she goes,
Shit.
"Do you think Gracio told them about you?"
I believe everybody already knows somewhat of what's happening in this island. We
Let's-
gotta hide Akari.
We'll have to find
Yeah,
out.
but I'm just saying if they don't know we are just I guess we'll have to try to get under the radar.
Yeah, trying to go under the radar, not cause any suspicion. We'll try to keep our mutations out. Fuck. All right. Well, let's see what
God
happens.
damn it. Okay. Yeah, we gotta get Akari out of here.
Yeah.
All right, so she stuffed Gen's notebook into a bag and she's like headed out the room they were in to see if she can go find any extra pills or first aid kits or anything.
If you're gonna do that, I'll probably mention to the other group, like, well, if they're separated in different wings or different rooms, we'll probably go to them and then ask Aaron for help to, help either Sakura or Aaron or one of those two to help me hide Akari, or at least keep watch on her as of the BSAA.
Yeah. you guys will start doing that. I'd say, again, about now, you can basically be making your way out the admin building, and you see those Humvees pull up, and those 3 people get out with a handful of other BSAA soldiers.
Do I recognize that Pierce is Aaron's brother?
You'd know Piers's name, and I'd say it'd be realistic that you could have seen a picture of Piers once or twice throughout like the 2 years you've known Aaron prior to the events of this campaign. So up to you, and you would recognize Chris from like session 4 when you saw him off in the distance.
Then Gen is gonna see the rest of the group and nod to them, and then head over towards Piers.
Yeah, you hear them
You walk
giving
towards
orders, and you can see them like getting a whole bunch of gear ready.
Why are you going towards?
And then after a certain point, you get up to Piers, then you feel a hand basically just tap onto your shoulder, not aggressively but a little assertively, and you look up and you see that it's Chris. And then he just goes, "Can I help you?"
I don't think so, and he'll point over towards Aaron's brother. But I know his brother, and his brother is currently let out in the hospital. I figured I should let him know.
He just looks around and then he says, "All right. Yeah, he needs to at least hear that." And then he'll let his hand off your shoulder.
Do I recognize him at all?
Which person, Chris or
Redfield.
Piers?
Chris Redfield. Obviously, we've already.
You'd recognize him as the same. Yeah, you'd recognize him as the same person you saw off in the distance in session 4. As to what that does for you, I don't know. I guess it depends how much studying you've done of like the BSAA and other things like that.
I mean, they are very related to the Ouroboros and Umbrella and all that. Even if they didn't directly confront Umbrella, because I think they're the group that came after that. So I mean, he probably has seen him, but he wouldn't have researched.
They were NATO's unit formed after Umbrella's destruction.
Yeah. So I mean, he's probably seen the dude's picture before or something, but like doesn't know who he is. And it's just like, so again, just gonna nod and continue on.
Yeah, and you see people basically getting ready. Then you see Piers basically pull out like this heavy 50 cal rifle out the back seat of the Humvee, and he's like assembling it together. And then he just looks up at you with like a very stone cold face, and then he goes, "Shit, you're the one that Aaron talked about."
I am indeed. Speaking of, your brother's not exactly in a good way at the moment.
What did Nimrod get himself into this time?
That Nimrod saved my life. When a couple of other students decided to take a couple of swings with a bat. He got stabbed a couple of times for it, and he's in the hospital at the moment. Or, well, I guess our little medic triage area. Not gonna lie, he took it pretty bad. He's still kicking, but
He looks down, and then he looks back up at you, and he pretty much has the rifle fully built, and then picks it up to where the butt's on the ground, and the thing's borderline about his height. Where is he, and what all do you know about what's been going on here?
he's over there. Everything. Listen, this
Okay.
is my best friend's brother. I have to believe in someone, or I can't believe in anyone.
You're with me. And then he basically heaves the rifle up and then holds it over his shoulder. All right, you're with me. I'm gonna fill you in on the situation on the way there.
All right, we'll follow. Did he say he will fill me in, or did he ask to be filled in? Because I was busy reading Hales being
I
like,
think
under the radar.
I think he said.
While I
we'll
fly
fill you
directly
in.
into the face of the radar.
I think he said he will fill you in. I think.
Alright.
Could be wrong.
I believe so. That's what he said.
In that case, Gen listens.
We'll continue on the scene with the two of you. Yeah, we'll continue the scene with the two of you walking, and then it'll link up to the others.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, Chris. It's my delay's awful tonight.
No, I was just saying that I was following him then. And I guess if I see the others, I'll like nod them over.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna let you know right now you're in a pretty bleak ass situation. Though you didn't need me to tell you that. This place has been marked for, we'll just say, renovations. Anyhow,
I think it'd be better to call it demolition.
Mother Gracia contacted the BSAA and said that they're. Yeah. Anyway, Mother Gracia contacted the BSAA's high command and said that she had possible information on an anecdote for what's going to be here, so they sent our unit ahead of the bombing run by about 7 hours.
Alright, then.
Either we find it, or they're going to have to clean stuff out. I personally volunteered to be part of this team because I ain't losing Aaron to this, as much of a knucklehead as he is. If anyone's killing that piece of shit, it's going to be me.
As his friend, I think it's my job to ask you not to kill him.
Look, it's me saying in the most dickish way possible, he's my brother, and I'm not just going to watch him get burned up in this.
Well, okay then.
So, you tell me what all of you been dealing with.
God, where to start? So, I guess the earliest would be that situation where a bunch of kids decided to jump me, strap me to a chair, and then beat me with metal pipes. around the same time after I took that beating, Aaron cracked through the wall with his truck, got a couple of stabs, and then, well, that's when. And this is actually, like, again, kind of choking up, and that's where the people that murdered my father came from. Umbrella. They've been using this place to experiment on people. Trying to find them for years, and
With this, Piers just stops and then dead looks you into your eyes.
this is like Gen. Normally, Gen isn't like the kind of person you'd look at and you're like, vulnerable child, but like looking into his eyes in this, like he's definitely reliving the moment of his father's execution in front of this, and it definitely, despite his imposing size, leaves him looking vulnerable. Yeah.
I see.
He chased me through the woods, and thanks to Aaron, I managed to get away. He did too, but he'd taken a couple of stab wounds, and he told me to leave him, and I couldn't see any way to take him. We were running low on time, so I left him. Yeah, I got back, thought he was dead. But he's a tough son of a bitch. But I wouldn't figure that out for a little while. The school got attacked by zombies at that point. It was the auditorium that got attacked first, or was it the library?
Library.
They'd had us gather at the library, and that's when the zombies showed up. First ones, at least. People didn't make it. I got as many out as I could. Me and my friends. After that, we got, let's be real, conscripted. It's these fucking chips in our head. There ain't shit we could do about it. So we went down into the underground, and he'll point towards the at this point caving in fountain. Over there used to be an elevator that would take you deep into the ground, where there are 4 separate layers of hidden underground fuck you bunkers. Each one about as safe as playing patty cake with a hand grenade. Again, we found more of those umbrella guys down
Piers listens. Yeah, Piers listens to all of this, and after a little bit, he says, "Well, I guess I'll have to go. I've got to get back to the library. I'll see you later." And he leaves.
there.
Piers listens to all of this, and after a little bit, he says, "Well, I guess I'll have to go. I've got to get back to the library." you talked to, after you brought up Umbrella and said they killed your father, he had stopped moving and just stared at you. And then as you start explaining all of that, you basically see him walk over toward you, and then while you're explaining everything, he basically puts his hand over your shoulder, then wraps you in for a hug. And he says, "You've been through a lot."
Mm-hmm.
Look, my brother was willing to risk his life for you. You gotta be a decent kid. So you just let it out now. And we're gonna make these sons of bitches pay.
Again, like, slowly takes the hug, and he doesn't cry a lot. But there are definitely a number of silent tears. After a minute, he's gonna push away.
And then it's at this point, he'll let go of you. Yeah, get on.
I was just say after a minute, he like pushes away and kind of wipes away the tears.
No, I was letting you say what you were starting to say. My delay interrupted it.
Oh yeah, no, that was the end of his crying, and then he's just gonna, he wipes away the tears. I'm gonna eventually we met up with Aaron down there. He found a different way in, and without him, some of us wouldn't have made it out again. But they ended up blowing up the third level because it had a giant. Was it an orb? Like, would I know what the name of that plant was, or is it like a strain that I'd never seen before, or is quote unquote a new strain?
Are you talking about the? Are you
giant
talking
plant
about
monster?
the blob?
Yeah.
Well, my question is: are you talking about the blob or the flower?
The giant
you would have
blob.
been able to suss that was an Ouroboros.
Yeah, because I know I have a flower of the original flower petal thing. They had an Ouroboros plant growing down there.
You would have been able to suss out that was an Ouroboros.
They had this massive Ouroboros plant down there. Well, I guess they wanted to get rid of evidence because they, while we were on the floor, set it to incinerate the entire floor. We made it out. My sister got banged to shit up, but we managed to make it out. And right side, your brother doesn't have a chip in his head, because as soon as we got out, they knocked us all out using the chips. But your brother didn't fall unconscious. So yeah. After that, Harbinger.
Eric Piers listens. Well, I was just gonna say to advance it so we can get everyone else in before I gotta close the session. Pretty much
Explains the last little bit that's
pretty
happened.
much, you guys keep this conversation. Yeah, you explain all of this, then you guys eventually walk up to the medical ward, and you guys see Gen and Piers walking up to you, and he has this giant 50 cal rifle slung over his shoulder.
Holy shit! And Annika just like looks at the gun. Got any more smaller gear like that? Well, not like that. I'm sorry, who are you?
Guys, this is Piers Nivens, Aaron's older brother, and member of the BSAA.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
These are the guys that have been running through hell and back with your brother and I, Mr. Evans. None of us would be here without each and every one of us.
Alright, well, I'm gonna give you all the explanation that I gave your friend here. School's been marked for termination. They got a carpet bombing path ready to go in about 8 hours. They're just mobilizing the fleet now. But your headmistress contacted High Command and said there was possible chances to recover an antidote, so our team was sent ahead to recover that antidote. If we do, they're going to call off the run and just start trying to eliminate things here the old-fashioned way.
Alright, so
Mother Gracie has also temporarily overridden all the chips. So we've got about 5-6 hours before they can just flip us off and switch us off again.
All right.
Would I feel any difference because of that? Like, would I notice anything different?
No, you guys feel about the same.
She glances at him and she's like, all right, well, we gotta, one of our group's still down, need to get her out of here somehow.
I mean,
I see.
he had Akari, my sister's unconscious. I think that's who we're referring to. But
Yeah,
Martin also has a broken arm. So he's not exactly in fighting shape either.
he's good at tech shit, though.
Alright. If y'all get your shit together, I'd recommend getting ready to move.
Yeah, we just have a few more supplies.
And we'll help you out best we can, but it's a tight timetable.
yeah, we're just trying to get some gear, that's all.
Yeah. Mother Gracia also wants us to be part of the group that goes to the advanced area. Just
Right.
looking at the other three.
Great. We just need to get Akari out of here and figure out which vehicle we're taking.
I mean,
Alright.
apparently Aaron's old truck is go on.
Well, we can get y'all moving pretty quick. And we got our own transportation if that might be an issue. The only thing we got to be worried about, and then Piers looks off towards the sky. Ah, shit.
I will look also up to the sky.
Again, does the same.
If all of you look towards the sky, you can see almost like this giant Harrier style aircraft moving overhead, and you can pretty much see it moving by where it comes over. Then you can see all these things dehinging off of it and falling down as though it's this like big epic thing coming off. And whoever rolls the highest awareness, I'll go ahead and give the info on that.
Damn it!
41!
Fucking kill.
29.
I'm using a luck.
26.
My
I mean, at
last
this
luck.
point, don't
Don't
really
even,
bother.
You don't have to burn
Don't
luck on
bother.
this shit. Got Alice with that. Jesus.
Combat mode
Oh.
initiated.
Annika's like, damn, the sky. It's blue.
Did you put a plus?
Yeah, I think she put up.
No, I thought I just did it roll correctly or did not
No.
roll the right
No,
way?
it did not roll correctly.
Okay.
No.
Gosh damn,
Gosh,
roll.
how many?
Well, I think Alex won this no matter what, unless you can get more than 41.
23. There you
Nope.
go.
Okay, there we go.
So Alex, Gen, or Alex, a mile, Gen, Ray, then Annika.
Yeah, it's Alex.
It's again my Hawkeyes.
As you see this giant aircraft moving, anyway, as you guys see this giant aircraft coming overhead, you can see that there's no friendly markings on it whatsoever, and it basically starts going overhead as you see all these different pieces dropping off of it, and you can kind of see like explosions starting to happen where each of the different things drop, and you can see canisters and crates falling too. And Alex, you see on the side of it the USS logo.
USSS.
Yeah, USS. And I have the symbol for them in the server already. It should be under faction symbols, I believe.
see it.
Goo boy.
Alexander would say it out loud, the USSS. Before
As you say that, another canister lands just outside the infirmary and basically like explodes, knocking all of you out, and that is where we'll end this session.
Fuck.